Well, today we're going to be looking at making a rather unusual spaceship. So I bought this record recently, and it's a soundtrack to First Men in the Moon, which is the pardon me, the Ray Harryhausen film adaptation of H.G. Wells' very famous novel. And it tells a story of Victorian explorers who visit the moon, and they use, as their mode of transport, they use what's called, they call a sphere. And it's basically a glass sphere. On the outside are roller blinds, which they paint Cavorite, which is a paste that Cavor, the inventor in the book, invents, and it blocks off gravity. So obviously anything that's coated in it is not then tied to a planet, and air pressure pushes it up outside the atmosphere, and they can then steer to the moon. It's all pardon me, very far-fetched but very good book and an excellent film. So I was listening to this and I thought, I've always wanted a sphere model kit, but there's a few available, resin and various kits like that, and I couldn't find a 3D model, so I thought I'd have a go. It's been a while since I did some Fusion 360 work, so I had a go, and I'll show you what I've done here. So that's what I did. I designed it up, and I did it so that only a quarter needed to be done, and then you just mirror it, and then the top and the bottom are just mirrored as well. So it's a good design because it's all mirrored. The top part obviously had to have a hatch in it, and I originally put the hatch on as a solid piece, and I thought, no, I actually want to be able to open it. So I'll show you the parts I've done. Also, this comes with Dr. Strangelove and Captain Kronos, which is an excellent film. So if you want to see a review on the record, let me know. Okay, so pop him down there. So what I did was print out this. So like I say, it's done in 2 halves, so you could put an interior in if you wanted to. It's going to need a little bit of sanding because sometimes resin does warp, and you see there's a bit of a gap. So basically it's this half, if you imagine going halfway between each one, because of the way these are positioned, you couldn't really, you'd have to have these in half on an instance. I didn't want that, so basically just made a dome and then added parts onto it, put a load of rivets on it, added a couple of portholes. So like I say, the top one I've created a hatchway, the bottom one is solid on it, and then I've made a little hatch. This all needs sanding and painting, so the hatch is going to close it or build a little mechanism to hold it open. I put a wheel on top, but it didn't actually come out. I think I made it too small. So the next part is obviously in the film. The sphere is covered in loads of railway buffers, you know, that you used to get in trains. So I had to print up loads of these, and they're just little buffers, and then they fit on each point that there's an overlap. So I had to do loads of them, and then I also did some little wheels to go on the top and the bottom of the hatch because they didn't come out. I'll probably put this STL on my Patreon channel, so if you want to print your own up, then pop over there and join, and then you can download it and print it. It does take a while. I think this took 7 hours to print because I've only got a very small print base, so you have to print it up like that. Ideally you do it like that. I suppose you could do it that way if you wanted to. So the first step is going to be clean this up, sanding it. There's not a lot of cleanup Mainly just need a little, what do they call them, struts? The things that hold them up. I don't think they're called struts, I got the wrong word. But so the first job will be to clean all this up and then see how we go. Okay, so I've done a little bit of starting to put it together. So I put some rivets, I forgot to put rivets on it, glued the two handles on, so you got the hatch. I've glued the halves together, started filling them and started adding the buffers on. And it's looking quite snazzy at the moment. So I'll carry on sticking buffers on it. Okay, so I've glued all the buffers on, glued it all together. I've made a little hinge for the hatch so it opens, and I've made it very loose, rather like the film one, just so as it can flop back and then fit on nicely. So what we're going to do is undercoat it. I use this stuff now for matte black, it's really good. Poundland again, but it's £2.50. Work that one out. So the sphere is mainly black for the edges, and then sort of a brown colour for the sphere inside. So we're going to do that. I'll just undercoat it now. Dry off, and then we'll do the second half. So I'm just using enamel wash Africa Core just around the rivets, bolts, just to give them a bit of griminess. Okay, so the sphere is finished. I made a little base for it, I'll show you that in a second. So I glazed, well, you can see the reflection of the GoPro. I glazed the windows, and to do that I used a very handy circle cutter that I got from Hobbycraft. And you just cut it and it cuts a perfect circle. It does leave a hole in the middle, but I think it looks okay. So all the windows are glazed, as you can see, you get a nice reflection. I sealed the outside, dusted it down, sealed it. Probably needs a little bit more of a dust because the varnish layer has covered a bit of it up, but I think it looks quite good. It's totally detachable. The base is just, you sit over there. The base is just glue foam covered in a mix of plaster and Mod Podge, not plaster, filler, you know, you get polyfiller and Mod Podge, and just smeared out and then painted. Got my wife to print off a little First Man Enemy in the Sphere little label, and then this just sits on. You can put it anywhere you want. The hatch opens, so at some point I want to do some figures of Bedford and Cavorite. So I'm quite pleased, considering this didn't exist before. So I've designed it on the 3D modelling program, printed it out completely myself, built it, painted it, and everything. So it's completely what I would call scratch built from component parts of resin and foam. So I'm really pleased with it. I think it's come out well. I've always wanted a model of the sphere, and I'm happy that I've got one that I made myself. Oh look, you can see right through. You see, yay! What does Sean Bean think of it? He's crying. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. If you want to see more 3D modelling stuff, let me know. If there's any spaceships you think I should have a go at doing, or any props or things, I'll give it a go. I'm probably going to put the STLs for this up on my Patreon. So if you've got a 3D printer and you fancy printing out a sphere and having a go, you can join the Patreon and get those. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you can. We do have, like I say, the aforementioned Patreon page. But I'll see you again next time. Thanks then. Bye.